gamers, and welcome to episode 443 of the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade for January 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's going on this week, Dominic?
All right, man. It's been an all right week, man. You know, we had a lot of stuff. It was very cold. Oh, yeah, winter storm.
Yes.
Over here in the East Coast and other places too, man. I heard like Texas is getting cold, and it's bad for them, like in Dallas, because their team lost, and then they had to deal with freaking freezing cold. It's like, man, they're
frigid
just
weather,
going through
frigid heart, Dominic.
Yeah. I'm gonna get right into sports. So the playoffs have been going on. It's been so exciting. I mean, it's been all right playoffs. There's been some one-sided games though, but Texans beating the Flaccos, as I like to call them now, the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, they beat up on them, man, and so we won't be seeing that Cleveland versus Baltimore matchup that I wanted to see. So the Texans are playing the Ravens, so I'm rooting for the Ravens, of course. And I'm Phil, you're rooting for the Ravens too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's good. Then you also have the second game for today. As we're doing this podcast, it'll be over. That the Green Bay is playing against San Francisco. So my friend, his favorite team is San Francisco, so I know he's rooting for them. And my dad's favorite team is Green Bay. I know your wife's favorite team is Green Bay. So that kind of makes me dislike Green Bay, though. That cancels out my dad. This is okay.
There's so many reasons to not like them. Come on, Dominic.
No, but I'm happy. See, Green Bay, I'm happy for them. See, I'm happy for what they did last week by whipping up on the Cowboys, blowing them out. I mean that was, it was unbelievable how they just beat the hell out of this team. Like, oh man, all that talk. I mean, I swear, Dallas is like for as much as they talked about, like if you didn't know nothing about the Cowboys, but you just hear all about how much TV time, like they get all these primetime games. They talk about all the time ESPN and all the shows. You look at the numbers and say, oh, they're the richest franchise in the world. Like they're literally the richest sports franchise in the world. And they got this nice ass stadium. I mean, there's been a few stadiums after it, but this is still like a very nice big stadium. They the ones
that screen is still enormous, though.
The Jerry World, yeah. And I even heard about them probably raising the field because of the soccer FIFA World Cup coming here.
Oh wow!
And they said because of regulations, they're going to have to raise the field. And I'm thinking like, so what they going to do with that big old screen up there? Like, because if you raise it up, you're closer to you can't raise that up anymore.
That's what you think.
And I'm like, what you going to do for football? Like for American football, are you going to be able to raise it, put it back down, like raise the thing down, renovate? Because will the ball hit it down, like the kickoffs go up there? I don't know. But anyway, well, as I was saying though, but no, you would think like this was like, man, this team they've been winners. This team hasn't won in 20 plus years. Like since 95.
Yeah.
They haven't, and it's like almost 30 years. So, yeah. So, like, what are we, like, like this, how does they do it? Like, Jerry, they have done some marketing with that team in those early years that have stayed. I mean, that have stayed to this day. Like, it didn't falter.
Yeah. And
they haven't really done nothing to really deserve all this press in the last 30 years. But they somehow are. It's amazing. It's just amazing. It's amazing. It shows like, man, like losing don't mean shit. It really don't. Like you look at that, it's like, darn, but he's winning. His family winning. Mm-hmm. Like there's just a team losing, and the fans who like root for the team, they just losing. But he's not. It's like, darn. I mean, he does want to win. I mean, you can see it. Like, I'm sure he does want to win. I think he's going to be pissed off and stuff. But he's keeping the coach. He's keeping the head coach, what everybody thought was going to get fired. But he said that because statistically, he said, this is what he said. I don't know what the real reason is. But he said statistically, this guy's been the winningest coach in Cowboy history, which statistically he has. In a regular season, this guy has won more games than other coaches, and like winning percentage wise, I think they won like 12 plus games for the last 3 years. But they just don't win the playoffs, and I guess he's still going for it. So I'm happy. I'm like, hell yeah, go do it again. You know what? Because I want y'all to not continue not winning, because I don't like the Cowboys, and a lot of people don't. So they're like, yes, please keep it going. So what else? Eagles lost too, another NFC East team, which surprisingly, because they started out 10-1 this year, they were kicking everybody's ass.
That's wild.
Well, they weren't really. I want to say that they weren't kicking everybody's ass. They were winning close games in those 10-1 games, but they were winning, and maybe that's what it was. Like those games were. They were what keeping them afloat. That they won, but there was really some problems that they didn't fix. And when they played the 49ers, it broke them, and they have lost. They lost 6 of the last 7. I think maybe 7 out of the last 8 if you include the playoff. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that the numbers there, but yeah, they got beat up by the Buccaneers. So you got like Green Bay is playing the San Francisco. And the Buccaneers are going to be playing the Lions. The Lions who did beat the Rams, who is pretty funny because both quarterbacks come from each other's teams. They were switched because Stafford came to the Rams and then they won a Super Bowl. That was a trade. So now it was like, the Rams, that Stafford's playing Detroit Lions. And it's funny that because Detroit Lions haven't won a playoff game and since, I forget, it's been like the early 90-91, something like that. So it's always joked like, Stafford was on the field where the Lions won, though. Unfortunately, he was on the other team when it happened, but he was there. I know Eminem did a joke saying that, Stafford's like, I backed you, man. I even backed you when you left and went to the Rams. Say, you need to give us this one. He said, you need to give us this one. That was pretty funny. But yeah, Lions won a playoff game. They haven't won in so long. And yeah, good for the Lions because they haven't won anything.
Yeah, that's cool to say.
But yeah, but they are playing the Buccaneers, and I'm kind of rooting for the Bucks. Though I don't want to mind. Like both those teams, I wouldn't mind winning because the Bucks. The only reason I want the Bucks to win is because the show, like, hey,
not Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's a fraud. Yeah, and
he got carried.
It's like, dude, this is the same team he had last year, and they went below 500. And the only reason why I got the playoffs because the rest of the division sucks. This team is above 500, and they won their playoff game. I was like, Tom Brady. Yeah, it was a fraud. The team was just good. Tom Brady was just there. Also on the AFC side, you got Kansas City won their game pretty easily against the Miami. It was very cold there, man, it was like below. It felt like below like -20 or some shit.
Dolphins just freeze in the water at that rate.
Yeah, exactly. And man, they were showing the coach for
with the mustache.
Kansas City. Yeah, his mustache all crystallized. Because first I was watching the game and I was just joking, like, hey, look, his mustache all frost over. But then I was like, wait, man, it really is. Oh my God. I was like, that's nasty. And so I just pretend, I put in my mind, it's snow. That's snow that's on his mustache. But yeah,
just
I was like, get that camera
down.
Like, get that camera off of him. Or something like that. Or somebody said, somebody put a mask on his face. Someone put a mask on his damn face. So, that was pretty funny. But yeah, and also Buffalo, they had postponed their game to a later date, to Monday, because of the blizzard they had last week, and they were just digging out, and they still had snow was back, and they were just, you just see, because I remember it was a bad call. Somebody threw a snowball on the field, man. I was like, see, this is dangerous. Now,
that's what they get for not clearing those seats out.
But then when they get touchdown, you see snow like thrown in the stands, like there's all this snow flubbing up. Yeah, but yeah, Buffalo, who they beat? The Steelers. They beat up on the Steelers. It felt like that game was going to be a blowout, but the Steelers actually made a game, and I give it to Tomlin. That team had no business being in the playoffs. But and it's been a lot of years I'm going to say a lot. It's been some years that they looked like they had no business doing anything. But that team will be at 500 or above 500. Like, he get those boys to play. He walked off though when they said they asked him about what his contract. What do you think? Are they going to resign you or something?
Yeah.
And he had walked off or something. But for anybody who wants him fired, dude, I'm just thinking like, what was your expectations for this year?
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody expected the Steelers to do anything this year, and he got them to get there.
Yeah, in the playoffs.
And, I just wonder what Steelers fans feel about Tomlin. Like, do y'all want him gone? Because honestly, if they do let him go, I wouldn't mind him being a Commanders coach.
Yeah,
because that man, he's got that team to play. He's got that team to be. They be competitive every year. Like they're like to me like how the Ravens have been since Harbaugh been there. Mm. Mostly every year, they've been competitive. Though record wise, I think Ravens had below 500 years.
Sure, yeah.
But just a few. But just a few since Harbaugh. Not a lot. Not a lot at all. But Steelers had none.
That's
like,
crazy. Yeah,
they are in that, like, even the years when people be frustrated, oh, this team is horrible. But record wise, they don't. And I know some people would say like, oh, it don't mean anything if you don't win a Super Bowl. But I was like, well, most people don't, right? Don't most people don't win a Super Bowl? That's like there's only one team that wins. There's only one team that wins every year. So I don't know what you expect. Like I wish I was like the Steelers. Like I'm always jealous of their franchise.
Yeah.
I wish I was that franchise is always like, technically, yeah, they'll make as much money as the Cowboys, like, but money, that doesn't matter unless you're part of that money.
Right.
So that's why I never even care about that. I don't care about people who even argue that. Like, I don't think more people, there probably are some people, but much of that in football. But between like them and the Cowboys, they won, I think, technically more Super Bowls, like one more Super Bowl than the Cowboys. They've been around longer too. Yeah. Cowboys came up in the 60s. But Steelers, like, that franchise has been great. Like, you had a lot of great years. Like, they're like for me, like for my team, if you were born, like even my age, they won 2 Super Bowls in my lifetime, but there's only one of them that I might have seen some of, and I was like in the first grade. Like you have multiple generations for at least the Steelers that have seen them do something. Yeah. Like Cowboys, not really. Like someone said, if you're under the age of 40, you can't really say much. But that's you can, because like technically we're under 40. Yeah. But I think that's just they just round up the number. Nobody's gonna say like 36. But like if you are like, you haven't really seen the Cowboys win. If you're like just a kind of if you're a young dude like in your early 30s, like you never seen them win or anything. But the Steelers, they have they've been competitive. It's amazing how much as they've done in like all the years of football. Like good for them. Like and then for that city. I know they're rivals to Baltimore. But I still respect them. Honestly, I'm not a huge Baltimore fan. Like I still respect the Cowboys when they're good. Like, I don't hate Dak. Like, I don't hate that. Like I hate like a fan. But honestly, Dak, I was rooting for him to be good, but he keeps folding in the playoffs, and it's just like, oh man, it sucks. Just like I know some people say like you shouldn't be rooting for your teams in your own division. Like sometimes I do root for Eagles because I do like Jalen Hurts, and I don't really hate the Eagles. But only root against them if it like helps my team move up in the standings. Like, that's probably it. But then at that point, I also think like, hey, my team needs to just win. Then they won't have to worry about that. Right. And I just hate them. Like, I don't really hate them though. Like, I don't know. I'm just not. I guess when I get older, like when I was younger, yes, I was into that. When I get older, it's like, I don't really hate them. But even though I root against them and stuff like that, I find it funny when Cowboys lose, because of all the talk about them they have every year. Like even this year, people saying like this, like even Jimmy Johnson saying like it's the best team even since his team, 95. Yeah. And I'm like, damn, and they still just got blown out in the first round by a team that was a 7 seed. See, that's a damn shame. But yeah, it was a fun weekend. It was a fun weekend. Who I'm rooting for? I'm rooting for the Ravens. of course, but there's no team I really hate. I kind of want Kansas City to win. I don't know why. Probably because they won already. I'm still, you know what? Because Mahomes with them, like, I don't really dislike them, but I'm. It still hurts me that they lost to Tom Brady. When he was on the Buccaneers, like, I still, because that was the moment where that was supposed to be Mahomes taking the torch from Tom Brady, because he wasn't there passing it. Like, stealing the torch from Tom Brady and saying, "Get the fuck out of here, old man." That was the moment, and they fucked up. They fucked it up. They fucked that moment up for me, and it kind of, in that moment, it still hurts me, because it's like that we could have ended Tom Brady right then and there. It could have been over, but we had to see 3 more fucking years of this dude, because your asses couldn't finish the job.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anything else in sport? Well, I spend a lot of time on football. I don't want to talk much about anything else. So yeah, what's going on with wrestling, man?
All right, real quick in wrestling, speaking of people passing the torch and not passing the torch, Kazuchika Okada is leaving New Japan. He is basically has been their top star for the past, like, 10 years.
Oh, man.
It seems like it's literally like if John Cena at his, maybe not quite his peak, because that's the thing about Okada, is that he's basically done everything that you can do in New Japan. So, like, as a fan of wrestling and as a fan of what he could potentially do elsewhere, I'm excited to see him leave. I honestly want him to go.
So where's he leaving to again?
He has not announced that yet. There's speculation.
But you think he'll be leaving Japan? He'll be leaving the country?
He's leaving Japan, absolutely. I mean, there's no other promotion in Japan that's big enough to give him the kind of money that he would need. That's the
like I made up for Japan, Daniel, the Rising Sun. I made it up.
Yeah. He's definitely leaving for America, though. Apparently part of that is that, like, the yen is, like, so depressed right now that it would be hard for New Japan to offer the same kind of money that he would
sure
get.
Is, because Yakuza, man, I got like a billion yen, man. Ain't worth shit.
So there's that. For me, honestly, like, with as improved as WWE has been, and for the potential of, like, new matchups for people that he has not wrestled in the past, I would actually like to see Okada go to WWE if they can handle him properly. It'll be a struggle for them, because he can speak English, but I don't think English is, a strong suit for him. So I don't know how he's going to be cutting promos, but they've done a pretty fine job of working around that shortcoming with Asuka. She's been booked in the past as, like, one of the most dominant wrestlers and never has really been forced to stand there and cut a English promo in the same way you have Cody Rhodes or whomever. So that's going to be interesting. AEW, it just feels like it would be New Japan 2.0, basically. Everybody that's in AEW now is someone that has previously been in New Japan, and he has probably already fought at the top of the card. So yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes. It sounds like he's going to be freed up. His contract ends at the end of this month, but it sounds like he's got some committed dates that he's going to fulfill through basically the end of February, which means he wouldn't necessarily show up at Royal Rumble next weekend in Tampa, but he could have a match at WrestleMania. Now, conversely, Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, is still out in the open as a free agent. It was heavily speculated that she might actually be returning to WWE. But it sounds like now those rumors are kind of squashed, and it sounds like if she's going to sign anywhere, it's probably going to be AEW. Now, with all that out of the way, on Monday night, Seth Rollins had a match against Jinder Mahal, and I think I talked a little bit last week about how that was kind of controversial. Regardless, though, it sounds like Seth Rollins may have torn his MCL, and partially torn his meniscus. Those are two muscles around the knee area. Seth Rollins is a guy that is previously had knee issues, including surgeries and whatnot for them, which could put his match with CM Punk, which isn't official yet, but basically what it seems like they're building to, his match with CM Punk at WrestleMania, in jeopardy. There's a lot of talk that this injury, while pretty serious, is also something that can be rehabbed if you don't necessarily need surgery in a somewhat short amount of time. Logan Paul had a similar injury coming out of, I think, one of the Saudi shows a couple of years ago, and he was good to go in like 3 months. So it seems like he could be on the timeline to come back for that WrestleMania match. But nothing is official. They've already announced that he's going to address his future on Monday Night Raw, and that could be anything. That could mean anything. It could mean that he's, relinquishing the title, or it could mean that he's like, I'm not going anywhere. So we'll see what happens with that. But it is that is the risk that you face when you are wrestling basically every week. I think that's what Seth Rollins has been doing, is defending that title basically every week since he's gotten it. And, he's doing that for storyline purposes, and also because Roman Reigns is not around. I mean, Roman Reigns is also on SmackDown versus Raw, but that's the contrast that they're going for, is that Roman Reigns is a champion that comes around when his time is, when he wants to. I think he had like 7 matches in total last year, which is pretty wild to think about for a WWE wrestler who's not considered part-time like a Brock Lesnar. But that's kind of where he's at now. And a lot of people are speculating now that, like, what does Roman Reigns do once he's done here? Is he going to retire, or is he going to, slow it down? And, we don't know. But I feel like after he loses this title, you got to give him one more like face run at least, if he wants to be around and doesn't want to like move on to Hollywood or something. And if that's the case, he's got to be around a little more, because you have to be there to ingratiate yourself with the crowd. You don't necessarily have to wrestle a lot, but you have to at least be there. So we'll see with that stuff. But yeah, that's kind of the big points. But the Okada stuff is kind of the biggest thing coming out this week, because he literally is the biggest guy in that promotion, and they really haven't built too many new top guys, even since the Bucks and Kenny Omega left New Japan to form AEW. And then you have guys like Jay White, who kind of he got to the top of the card in New Japan as someone not native from Japan. He's from New Zealand. Him, Will Ospreay, another foreign guy, but those guys are now under contract with AEW, and it's basically like this partnership that AEW and New Japan has, because they'll do shows together, they'll kind of share talent, but at the same time, a lot of the benefit is going to AEW because these contracts come up, and New Japan just can't compete because Tony Khan's got Jaguars money from his dad. Yeah, it's wild. So it's going to be an interesting time for New Japan to see what they can do.
Wait, what was Tony Khan before he owned the Jaguars?
I don't know, honestly. Because
you say Jaguars from his dad. Wait a minute.
Yeah, so Shad Khan is the owner of the Jaguars, his dad.
Oh, darn.
They also own a football club in Europe. I don't know. I don't remember which one.
I didn't know that.
Actually, it's the one that they played in the stadium of, I believe, and the one that all the NFL games are in.
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking, because that's the thing. I'm thinking Tony Khan is whatchamacallit, is his father.
Shad Khan, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I've never seen Tony Khan before.
Nah.
This is the first time I've ever seen him. Yeah, he's young. He's a young looking dude.
He's the younger, dorkier looking version without the cool mustache. Yeah. So, it's really going to be hard for New Japan to compete on talent, and I feel like they're gonna find themselves either getting guys that don't want to leave Japan because that's where their families are, or just becoming kind of a place that builds these guys up eventually, like a developmental place for either WWE or AEW. And as long as you can keep talent coming through, you don't have WWE and AEW touring through Japan often, so there's still a niche for you to perform there, but you're just not going to be on the same level always, I think. And that's maybe something they either need to come to terms with, or I don't know, make some kind of deal with one of these companies where they can profit off of it. I think that's more what they're going to find themselves doing is finding a way to leverage that, hopefully to make these guys some more money. And that's kind of admittedly what they're doing now, because like their big shows, like their Wrestle Kingdom shows, they've got guys like Bryan Danielson, they've got Jon Moxley on there. These are the top talents from AEW doing their shows and bringing in crowds and bringing in money for them. And really, I mean, what it is bringing in foreign eyes as well, because there was a time when New Japan was going to try and like expand into the United States and get like a TV deal and all that stuff. And they do have a TV deal, but it's on like Access or something that no one really watches.
I watch it, Daniel.
Do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah. If you can tell me what the channel number is for Access right now without looking it up, I'll give you some credit.
132.
Okay, I'll have to look that up because I don't know it either. But yeah, I think that's kind of what New Japan needs to really focus on is utilizing like AEW as a means to expand their product in America and then get eyes back on what they're doing in Japan. And hopefully that works out for them. I don't want to see them go away. They aren't necessarily like they're basically the closest thing to a third pillar as far as wrestling promotions go, because TNA, which is actually, or Impact, which has now gone back to the TNA name to basically leverage nostalgia, because that's still an awful fucking name. Total nonstop action. We know what TNA stands for, and we know why you called the promotion that back in the early 2000s. Like, come on.
At the time, I didn't, Daniel. I was a naive little boy.
Yeah.
I didn't know those things.
But yes, they're not up to the level of New Japan. They are doing a good job right now of putting on entertaining shows, and they've got some of the guys who have left WWE recently coming in there, which will hopefully kind of bolster them a little bit. But again, I think they're on Access too, because I think they own the parent company of Access or vice versa or something. But like, again, that's just such a non-channel. It's not even really worth considering, when we're talking about like TNT, TBS, USA, and Fox, which doesn't seem like WWE sticking around on, but it sounds like they're going to have a lucrative deal somewhere. Yeah, that is. Yeah, so that's wrestling, Dominic.
All right. So I guess we get to what we've been watching.
Yeah.
So I guess you can continue talking because the other two shows and movie I've seen everything you saw.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So first up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem. I finally got around to watching that as my trial of Paramount Plus is coming to an end here. I made a point to finish it off because I had started it, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I had mentioned starting it. From the trailers, I was kind of intrigued by it. Like, it has a very distinct art style, and I really like the way it's conveyed in that movie. I think they do a good job with that. All the action All the action set pieces looked fantastic in motion.
Yeah, they did.
I think the younger actors for the Teenager Mutant Ninja Turtles did a fantastic job. I think it's definitely a take that I haven't really seen where they actually, make them teenagers first more than mutants and turtles. And I think that's a clever spin on it because it seems appropriate. And, having April, of course, then being like high school age around where they are works. They the moment where they have her doing the broadcast and just then vomiting everywhere. That was a lot.
Yeah,
it was entertaining, but it was a lot.
I'm not. The only thing I would say I didn't like of this was them going to school at the end. I didn't like that. I didn't like that really because it's like, come on, it's like, are we doing this? I say, they're just going to be going to school, and you know what? Even when I was younger, I hated when the turtles didn't wear their mask.
Yeah.
I do not like them maskless. They look weird. They look weird maskless. And they look weird in here maskless.
I was going to say, they look weird to begin with, and then you take their masks off, and yeah. But yeah, I think that was cool. I think they did a neat thing with their kind of rogues gallery to put as many of them in there as they did. I also realized, like, after I looked up the voice of one of them, that they just like, since the Turtles were all these young kids that they can't necessarily put on like talk shows and stuff, they just made all of those villains into like notable actors. It's like, oh wow, you just
really?
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, like Paul Rudd's the gecko guy. You got Maya Rudolph in there. You got John Cena, of course, is Bebop or Rocksteady. He's one of them. Seth Rogen. But I think he also like produced the movie too, right? I know he had more vested interest in that. But yeah, it was like a good handful of people where I'm like, oh, okay, this is where you put all the names. But yeah, I overall I thought it was a fantastic take on the Turtles. I'm interested to see what they do with the next one. Spoilers, they do tease that, the Shredder's going to be in that one, which is obviously the most known turtle villain.
And I guess in this one, Shredder's going to be inspired by like a cheese shredder or something like that. I mean, based on how crazy that they were inspired just by television to do the ninja stuff. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. But no, Shredder. I'm curious what they do with the Shredder.
Yeah,
like how that works, because that's definitely going to be totally different from what we ever seen.
Yeah, because
Shredder was always a known quantity to them in some way. He had some connection with Splinter,
right? And
this time, I'm assuming that there's not going to be a connection unless they make up something. Like, because I'm thinking he's going to be a villain. Just
Shredder
a villain they didn't know.
Was the former owner of Splinter before.
Yeah.
And it's also like a level of threat that's weird for like these very young teenagers that are inexperienced with kind of their abilities and whatnot, So we shall see what they do with that, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, and then I guess let's talk Monarch first. We both watched the first episode of that. You said the whole series is out now, right?
Yeah, the whole series is out.
So available. This is the Godzilla show on Apple Plus that is not necessarily a Godzilla show, but it's set in that universe. The Monarch is the company that not created Godzilla, right? But like researches and
they research these monsters. Yeah, because Godzilla technically wasn't created by man,
right?
He was always there.
Yeah,
Mother Earth created him.
Now Monarch did create like Cyber Godzilla, right? In the Godzilla versus
was that Monarch or that was some
was there
some other company?
Offshoot?
Yeah. Was it offshoot? I'm not sure. Yeah, it was that because I always thought of Monarch as the people who just watch the app. They don't kill enough. They're just learning and monitoring them.
Right.
and understand. Yeah.
Gotcha. They're the PETA of this world, Dominic.
Yeah. Well, I would call it PETA.
I know. I'm kidding. Yeah. So it's based on that. We didn't really see much in the way of like that company and the way it runs necessarily in this first episode. It was really about setting kind of the stage for like who we're going to be following in this and like the world that they're
till they find Monarch. It looks like because it looks like they're going to end up probably be Monarch is going to either come to them because that hacking that happened in the first episode and it flashes back to even before King Kong. To World War II time basically. Whatever or like right after it was like what 1940 something. Or 50 something, 1950 something, where that took place. Because King Kong took place in the 60s during Vietnam and stuff like that. So, and that took place. Yeah, so they flash back from well, not current time, 2013, which is like, was that a months after or a year after Godzilla already attacked? San Francisco. Well, he attacked and those other two monsters. And so it takes place like maybe a year or months after that, and then it flashbacks to an earlier time in the 1950s when they were early Monarch were looking up some eggs, looking like some monster eggs or something, and then that shit happened where that lady got taken or killed, maybe I don't know. Yeah, because technically, I'm guessing she was a relative of the people we were following in 2013.
Oh, okay.
They did say she already had a child, right, with her husband.
Oh, I don't remember.
Then because I'm thinking in the card that they did say they had a child because I'm thinking like, oh, that she can die here because he's already born.
Right, the offspring's there.
Yeah.
Now, this is how we get Godzuki, Dominic. You see that woman went down there, and then she's going to get pregnant, and then out pops Godzuki. Yeah, but overall, what did you think of this episode? I thought it did a good job of kind of setting up who we're following.
Because I want to. Oh yeah. It definitely set it up perfectly. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all of it. It was really nice. Though I'm curious about this two family thing. Like they just throw in here. Like this guy has two families. He has his Japanese family and he has his Japanese family in America.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the hell? So I think that's a little weird that they chose to do it that way. But yeah. I wonder what's his excuse for. But it's probably no excuse for that. Really, it's probably just that I just fell in love and I fell in love twice.
Yep.
Or I got horny twice. But I think it is done well. It looks well, like where they did have the creatures. I think they looked good for that. So I want to watch the series. I want to continue watching it. And from what I've heard, like how people said that they enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
and I'm curious if they'll continue this, like if there's going to be another one, like because how expensive is this?
That's a good question. And how bad does the second one look?
But then Apple, hey, keep buying those Apple products, people, before they can keep making this show. Yeah. You got anything else you want to say about it?
Nah.
Okay, so we can get into the what's the title? Because I'm not on here now. Yes. Flower Moon. Well, you don't got the whole title.
No,
up here,
I don't have the whole title, and I'm blanking on the beginning of it now.
The Killers
of the Flower Moon. Yep, that's what.
Yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah,
the white people.
Yeah, it's spoilers. I was telling you before we started recording this, I think it's a fantastic movie. It's extremely well done. It's very long, though, and I don't know that it's something that would compel me to watch it again. But as a first time through, it's definitely compelling, and kind of seeing the slow unwinding of like what's actually happening is really interesting, because even though it feels kind of obvious what's going on, the fact that like the way it gets there, I guess, you know, the journey is still quite interesting all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah, how it starts off when you first, they even at the beginning, they show some people getting killed off, and you kind of figure like, yeah, these people try to kill people who own this land, who got named to the land with the oil, but then you hear about like, oh, all these women are sick, and now here's the thing: are these the diabetes? Is that just happening, or are they doing something to their food to do it, or is it just a product of them eating food that white people eat and their body's not used to it and it causes them to get diabetes?
I was thinking it was probably something closer to that. Like, I don't know if it's like not food that they're used to, or if it's just like, yeah, they're you know, kind of exposed to that kind of stuff. Like maybe that's was happening to begin with. But no, I think you might be right about that, because that it might just be stuff that they're not used to, because it always seemed like, you know, it wasn't something that they were accepting of, you know, they were still
and now
trying
that they got money and they're interacting with, and so they're probably eating foods and drinking, and maybe that stuff is it's like working with the system, and it causes that. And that's pretty messed up for them. Darn. Like, but yeah, so yeah, that's because I kept thinking like, wait a minute, are they poisoning these people to get diabetes somehow? So are they doing that? I was like, but nah. But now
it didn't seem like they'd be that subtle down. It seems like if they're poisoning them, they're just gonna poison them.
Yeah, exactly. So I was thinking like, oh, but they're doing these other things, and then but yeah, it was interesting how they go in, like how people were marrying in, and just for they can get the money, and man, I was just wondering like these families, like, darn, y'all ain't seen a pattern yet here.
It definitely feels a little obvious from the outside looking in.
Yeah, but I guess I mean, you gotta, because you're looking at it from a movie, you're the outside perspective.
Yeah.
And you kind of, especially probably know the history. Probably not know if you don't know this.
I mean, you look at the title and you're like, somebody's getting killed.
Yeah, Osage. But like you see, like this man, he's white, but he's on your side because he gave you all this money. He's building all these towers. Like, why would this man risk all this? Like, build hospitals and doing all this, helping you out. Why would you think he'd be behind this?
Right.
It's like, why would he be one you kill? He seemed like he's friendly, but he plays a good. He does a good job too.
Robert De Niro,
yeah, Robert De Niro, yeah, man, he is good in this, man. Man, like that man. Like, how old is he? Like, shit, man.
If I can pull that,
I forgot. He's like the high 70s, close to 80. I know he got a little baby. You know?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So
he's 80 years old.
Yeah. But yeah, so he was good in this, man. I like the part he played. And I mean, like the way he act, like it just didn't feel like with Robert De Niro movies, like he's a good character actor to me. I think he doesn't like, he's like a guy who he acts the same, you know. It's like, that's not him. He can change it up. And I like the part he played in this is like how the way he convinces people, like how he's kind of on this side, like how he was talking to Leonardo DiCaprio, telling him like to do those things, and how he kind of persuaded us, like, look, man, you strong, man, so you can you can do this. It's like, you have to do this, like you have to help the family. It's like how he convinces you that you're doing it. You helping yourself by doing this, but really you're just helping him.
Because to not see that, like, okay, yeah, man, you're gonna get everything in your name, and then what's gonna happen to you, right? Like, that's why, like, the entire time I'm sitting there, like, is this guy's just dumb, right? Like,
Yeah.
as much as everyone else doesn't see the pattern, he also doesn't see the pattern, right?
Yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, he's not that. He's not that smart, and it's unfortunate. But it's hard for me to. I can't sympathize so much because you. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert on this. I'm sorry. Just a little bit. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say this. I enjoyed the movie. Before I get to spoilers, I enjoyed the movie. I think it's pretty good. I think it's a little too long. Yeah, that they could cut, but it was a good movie. I felt like it was a good movie. That it's all right. I recommend. And since it's you can get it on streaming services or something. I mean, if you have the Apple, and maybe eventually it'll come on others streaming services later on, and you don't want to stay there to watch it the whole time. You can just always pause it like I did because did not.
It definitely was a couple of seats for me. Yeah.
And actually, I think mine was 4, and I actually wasn't going to complete it until I saw that you had it up here. I was like, shit, he finished it. So I watched that thing in like 1.5 speed on my computer. I said, fuck it, I'll just watch to get to the end. I think I still had like an hour left.
Wow.
So
Martin Scorsese would be so disappointed, don't he?
Yeah, I mean, I still understood everything, and hey, since they don't show the Osage subtitles, so it's like whatever.
Yeah, they don't. They do,
but he purposely does that. Yeah, they did at the beginning, and then I thought something was wrong.
Yeah.
With my app or something, and I was like, oh shit! I said something was wrong here, and then I looked it up, and then I saw like somebody say, why didn't they subtitle the Osage? And then Scorsese said, the actress conveys what she says very well that we feel like we didn't need to. I said, oh, okay. I said, I guess that's fine, even though I still want to know what she said. But yeah, so, well, how do you feel about the movie before I get to spoilers?
No, I'm right there with you. I think there are some shortcomings, mostly due to its length. Things could have been maybe cut down a little bit. We talked about it, but like I wouldn't cut anything necessarily. So it's hard to say like, this movie should be shorter, because I think what they do with the time is pretty important. Like they establish these characters very well, and coming into this not knowing that like Robert De Niro was even necessarily in the movie. I think I had heard that, but didn't really
Oh yeah, I didn't
compartmentalize that in my brain. Like I came in there and like he's just putting on a masterclass,
Yeah.
I think everybody, acting wise is fantastic in the movie. I was telling you, some of the people's faces just look a little too modern. Maybe it's just because they were like clean, there's so many people in this movie that just look dirty. That took me out of the experience every once in a while, but for the most part, I think this movie is fantastic and definitely up there with, Martin Scorsese's, best. I will say, I feel like it's been a while since I've seen a Martin Scorsese movie. And at one point in my life, I would definitely have told you that Martin Scorsese was my favorite director. I mean, Goodfellas is probably still my favorite movie if you have to press me on something.
But since he said he didn't like superhero movies, you said you hated him. You said you hated him.
One of these days, I do want to watch that stupid Netflix thing. But again, just like so long. It's just
what Netflix thing? You talking about?
What's the one with the DH De Niro and Pacino and stuff?
Oh, that. Yeah, I watched it because I watched that. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. I'll get around to it eventually, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Netflix is one of the like last places I go to look for what's on, even though it's literally the service that I probably paid the most money for, because I've had it since like I got DVDs from them basically and have never canceled it. But yeah, the Gran Turismo movie's on there. I think I saw that last week when we were talking about stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I'll spend some time on Netflix and check that out. But yeah, I thought the movie was fantastic. There were moments that I maybe would have liked to see differently. We talked about it, maybe the way it ends, but at the same time, in retrospect, it's hard for me to really argue with that decision because I don't know of a better way that it could have been handled. You know.
You know what? Nah, yeah, I'm not going to bother with spoilers. I think we said enough.
Yeah.
We've
spoiled history enough, Dominic.
Yeah. So, I guess we can get to what we're playing. So I'll start it off.
Okay.
I played some more Starfield. I am still doing this. So I finished with the Crimson. Damn, what would they call it?
Fleet?
Crimson Fleet? Yeah, I guess the Crimson Fleet, yes. I finished that mission, so this time I chose to be on their side. And yeah, so the UC, so you go ahead and board the big UC ship that they have, and you're basically killing the military guys and stuff like that. And then you get, it is pretty, it's different. And like how you see, in almost each section, you'll see a guy who you knew from the Crimson Fleet, and they like have you met along the way. If it all depends on your choices, I guess, if they're still around, and they say like, "Hey, yeah, I'm here, I helped you out," and blah blah blah, and they help you out. So I guess if you have some people around, they can help you out with like one dude say he can help me with unlocking the security, like or put the security so the turrets could be on my side, the robots can be on my side, or something like that. And I was like, oh, there was a chance that I probably couldn't have seen this guy, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, it was fun going through that. Then I did a few story missions where you can finally get your powers, and the problem with that is I forget I have that because I played this game so long. Like when I first did my first playthrough, I didn't finish the playthrough, but the first time my other save, I played that game so long and did a lot of side missions that I only did a few story missions, and then when I got back on the story, I didn't have no powers yet. Like I didn't even know you get powers. And then I got to the part where you get powers. Like, oh my god, I should have been playing some more of the story because I could have had some powers to use. Right. So, but every time in a firefight, I forget to use my powers. I just be shooting. I forget I have them. I was like, oh yeah, I do got powers I can use now to test them out. So, yeah, that sucks. What I'm doing right now, I'm doing some missions for the UC Vanguard, which is like there are basically these citizens of the UC, the United Colonies, that's what it stands for. And you go out and do these missions, and like they send missions somewhere, it could be some firefight, it could be just like escorting or something like that. That's what they do. But thing is, you have to do what's it called? The job. What's the thing you do the job, yo? The orientation. You have to do orientation. So where it teaches you the history of the UC and like all the like even the Free Star, like it's the UC United Colonies Free Star Collective, and there's some other factions too, and they told you all that. And I was like, darn, this has been good. I probably should have started this first because I would have learned all about what the hell's going on in the universe. But even though as you play on, you learn stuff anyway. Because when I was looking at it, I said, yeah, I learned some stuff. But it was cool just walking in like this museum showing you the history from Earth till now. And then they give you in a simulator, a pilot simulator, to see how good a pilot you are. And of course, with my cheats, I'm the best pilot. So so I did great. But they also, when I got finished, I went back to the guy, the head guy, and he said, we got something on your record saying, like, we see that you were working with the UC before into some operation with the Crimson Fleet, but like now, now that the way that mission's gone, some people can put two and two together with you. They say, look, we take anybody here, but we have to agree to the terms here that life's behind you. And I just picked a lie. I lied and just said, yes, that life's behind me.
Of course.
so I can just do those missions. But I like that they did have that. Because I was curious, too. I was like, yo, I'm kind of wanted. It's like, can I even do the UC Vanguard mission? So I probably should have did this shit first. But then when I came, I was scared. I was like, oh, shit. I said, I probably can't do these missions. And then, like, they give you a choice. You still do them. So I said, okay, well, good. I'll just pretend. and just go through here. Like I'm a good pirate though.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, yes, I occasionally kill people, but I also do nice things. You know. It's like I'm gonna put it like this. I'm just a regular person, basically. I mean, a regular criminal. You know, criminals are just evil. They did bad things though, but they had to be punished for. But I'm not. But anyway, so yeah, just I've been playing through that. Also, I played Dave the Diver. I picked that up because cool. I remember that's the game that came out last year, and I heard. We saw the names, but I say, hey, look interesting. So I play a little bit of it. So it starts you off with getting fish, under the water. It's a pixelated, if you know the game, it's a pixelated. I don't even know how to describe the game, honestly. But I can describe what it looks like. It is like very pixelated, kind of old style looking, but it's funny. The dialogue is pretty funny in there. It's no spoken dialogue. You read it. But you start off just diving, like you dive in this ship and you're underwater. It's 2D, and so you also got like a oxygen tank or something, so you only can stay underwater so long. But eventually you can upgrade to stay longer. Like you can fish. Like it's telling you to get some fish because this guy has a restaurant, so he's trying to make some sushi. So you can either go and like you got a knife, you can go there and try to chase him. But that kind of takes away your oxygen if you try to really swim faster. So you do got a harpoon, which you can use to catch them. So you have to aim it to get the fish. So then I got enough fish with the tutorial, and I take it up. And then we go to the restaurant, and that's another game within itself where you have to hurry up and serve the food to people. You have to make the menu, like the what fish you caught, so what's on the menu. So the people come, this is what they ask for, and you got the chef making it. You got to go pick it up, give it to them. You also got to give them, sometimes they ask for drinks, and you have to pour enough to, like, you have to do it on one pour. Like, hopefully you get it to the line to get it perfect. Like, I got mostly perfect and good. So, and then you might eventually do a cleanup, and then you get tips and stuff. And that's, like, how you get money, basically, from other stuff. And then you go back, and then there's other people come to you, say, hey, they want something you can get undersea for them. So, I think days pass and stuff like that. So, you can't do everything in one day. So, you have to, so you have to do enough, like, you can do for this day. Like, you might can get some fish, but then if you want to do that extra little mission, you go ahead and try to find that item or something while you're down there. And then, like, you can upgrade. You got things you can upgrade and stuff eventually later on. I'm still at the very beginning stages of this, though. The dialogue is pretty funny. I like it. Because you're like the guy you look at, he's like, you're a diver, but you're kind of big. You kind of chubby. Like, you're a big dude. Because the person came to you and say, hey, you're a diver? Say, wow, he say, I can't imagine. Like, I never imagined a diver being, like, big like this or something like that. And then you be angry. It's like, hey, man, I'm still here or something like that. But, because I think, he was talking to the guy you were with, your buddy. And you're like, it's a funny game. It's fun. I mean, and I also like the banter they have in the game. It's interesting. I'm at the still beginning stages, so I don't know if it's something I want to keep playing. I mean, I want to keep going further, but like, will I be attached to the game? I don't know. But right now, I am curious about the game. So yeah, I will continue to play a bit. I was questioning if I will be able to play because of this game that just came out, Palword, but we'll get to that for after you talk about Prince of Persia, though. The Lost Crown. So how you like that game so far?
So far, it's good. They definitely, with the demo, switched things up a little bit. So I'm finally kind of at the part where the demo began. They have kind of a set piece before that kind of sets up why you end up going into this castle that you're in the demo. It's the biggest change from the demo is the fact that I don't have all the powers and abilities that I had in the demo. Like, in there, you had kind of this dash move in the air. You also had a bow and arrow that you could use. So I know that these things are things that I'm going to eventually get, and kind of dealing with some of the stuff that I dealt with in the demo, the obstacles without having those abilities, was kind of a surprise at first. But it's been fine. Leading up to that portion, there was a boss that I fought. It was pretty easy. I mean, it was the first boss in the game, but he was very slow as far as like patterns go, so it wasn't anything too bad. I do wonder how intense it gets with the melee combat, because like the final boss of Metroid Dread was very difficult, and I'm wondering if they get to that level or not. But also, like, I feel like Metroid Dread didn't have
that's a game I want to go back to.
Levels, scalability, kind of.
Oh, I can't cheat. I can't cheat in that game. Never mind. I don't want to go back to it. It's like nah, that's not the reason why.
There are probably ways.
It's just too many games. It's too many games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there are ways, but I don't have the power. My PC don't have the power to do it.
Yeah, so I'm really just at the beginning, kind of, but so far it's running well. That is a game that doesn't require a very intense system to play, which is nice, but still looks pretty good. You know, the art style is not gonna blow anybody away. I feel like some of the character art that they bring up when they're talking to each other looks really nice, but I think the game itself maybe leans a little too into the cartoony-esque look and doesn't quite hit it as well as I would like. But yeah, that's where I'm at with Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. And yeah, you mentioned it, but Palworld finally came out, a game that has kind of been an inside joke on this podcast since it was first revealed as basically Pokemon with guns. I admittedly never really looked at it past the idea that it was Pokemon with guns. So the reality hit that it is a survival game that also includes Pokemon with guns, or Pokemon and guns. It was kind of a disappointment to me. So yeah, tell me about your experience with it, because you put your hands on it before I did, and kind of let me know what was up.
So starting off, like playing it, like you get into the world and it just drops you into like this, I guess, like ruined temple. Kind of reminds you of Zelda with that, and
got a little slate that you pick up too.
Yeah, they give you a slate. Exactly, you get a slate to pick up. like I'm just thinking, like, how Craftopia started then, like because Craftopia is made by the guys too, that was really a Zelda. That was just like a Zelda clone. So this, and then when I saw, like, when I dropped in the world, I was just wearing, like, I mean, I know in the creative character they had you in this loincloth and stuff like that. I was thinking, like, oh, you're gonna pick your clothes at some point, I guess. And they dropped me world. That's like, oh my god, this is going to be really survival. That's why I really knew it was like, oh, this is a survival game, because I have no clothes. And when I saw those trailers, you had clothes. so I was like, yeah. I said, damn, don't you can tell me I gotta pick up, like, I gotta probably crate clothes and stuff. And say, yep. So they tell you, like, to build a workbench. Like they have in a corner the tutorial what to do, but I don't know. It doesn't really hold your hand. Because the survival games, they don't really hold your hand like the true survival games. So, and then I'm playing on PC. There's a I don't know if it's a bug or they just didn't put it there. I don't know. They let you use a controller, but the inputs aren't there. So I don't know what to press. I just learned it as I was just pressing buttons what to press. And there were some cases though where I wanted to do something, I couldn't figure it out. I just moved my mouse to see what do I have to press on my keyboard to do it. So that was frustrating. But unfortunately, if you play on Xbox, they do have the prompts there, so that's good. So hopefully they'll patch that in. So yeah, going through the world. So I was like, okay, so you have to get wood and something to build this table, and so you can make that's how you make stuff, and then you can make the Pokeballs or whatever they call them in the game, and then so I did that, and then I think I talked to the man by the fireplace. I think he gave me some stuff, so I was able to build it pretty fast. And then I went down, I saw some sheep, and I was like, you know what, they're the weak ones. So I went ahead and bopped it, because I think I got a ball. Did I pick up a ball or did I make one? I forget. I think I picked it up, but I threw it, and that was my first one I had. And I didn't. Yeah, I don't think I made. No, I don't think I made the ball. I think I found it. Yeah, I found that ball. And because I didn't know how to make because of the prompts, I thought like, oh, I can't make anything unless I have a Pokemon. I thought I needed a Pokemon to do it. So I kept throwing the sheep over there to make stuff for me. Like I would throw it over there and it's working, and then I'll hit the prompt to make something, and I'm thinking the sheep is doing it. But then I realized, oh, you can. It's just that this game, it's just a little buggy because it is early access. Because when I get right in front of the bench, the workbench, there's no prompt for me to do anything. Like if I go in the angle though, like a specific angle, because it got frustrating. Then I got it, then I was like, oh my goodness, what the hell's going on? But then I realized, like I spent so much time doing that. It was like an hour, and I think I had like 3 Pokemon. Well, actually, no, 2. I picked up. Actually, no, none. I only had 1 at the first playthrough. The first playthrough, yeah, I played like an hour or so. I was just like, man, this is not the game I thought it was. So I was like, there's no quests or anything, because that's why I started looking online and say, where do I get the quests and things like this nature. And yeah, no, it's a sandbox game that you do what you almost basically what you want. There are places you can go where you can fight other so-called trainers. There are some bandit, I guess, camps or something. You can go and shoot them up. I haven't got to the point where I got a gun yet.
Yeah.
I got a bow and arrow, that was my mistake. Like when I went back in with my trainers, when the cheats came up, I said, "Oh, somebody can make cheats." So I started building stuff instantly. And then when I built my workbench somewhere else, it was a whole lot easier. Maybe it was just that location. There was a bug, and it was giving me a hard time to build stuff. When I built my workbench somewhere else, it worked perfectly, and I was like, okay. And I always had a hard time disassembling because, like I said, there's no button prompts on the PC version. So then I finally figured out how to do that, because I was like, dude, like I'm not going to be here anymore. Can I just move the workbench, or can I have to disassemble it? And then I figured that out.
You couldn't just move it, right?
Huh?
You couldn't just move it, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, at least if you could, I don't know how.
Yeah.
It seemed like you had to disassemble. So I did finally use my Pokemon to help me fight another one. So like now I see like, oh, so I can just hit the Pokemon too at the same time as my Pokemon.
Yeah.
I guess fighting them. So yeah, so we were just fighting the cats, and then I got it. Now if you beat it to like you take all its health, can you pick it up, or it's dead?
No, it's dead, and it just goes
dead.
like
Okay.
limp and turns into a physics thing.
Because I still see it. So I was because I was wondering. I didn't try to.
Yeah, I tried to because I saw this like unique thing at night one time, and I was like, I wanted to capture it, but it was too close to my base. So like all my Pokemon just started attacking it, and before I even got a chance, it was knocked out and rolling down the hill.
Yeah. So yeah, you can have like multiple Pokemon attack at the same time. I never did that. I mean, I've seen people do that, but I haven't done it. I didn't really collect a lot. I was really more exploring and just seeing where you can do. I think I built a hut in a bed at one point, and I would say I want to sleep here. By the time I finished doing that, it was daytime already, so I didn't care anymore. But yeah, this is a survival game because like when it's night, it gets cold.
Yep.
You will start losing health. You will start freezing, just like kind of like in Zelda when you up in the cold. But like at first, at the beginning, I used to just run to the fireplace where that guy was, and I warmed up. Then you can climb anywhere too, and you have stamina bar. Yeah. And you get hungry, and your Pokemon get hungry too, but they don't go. Well, at least my Pokemon didn't go down. Well, I say Pokemon pals. They didn't. Their hunger didn't go down as fast as mine did.
Yeah.
So, well, at least I appreciate. I think that's part of it because that's just too much. So, but I was get hungry, and that I'm not. I don't like survival games. Like I don't like. I mean, I don't like. I mean, not that I really don't like survival games. I don't like all that goes into them. Like, if some of that stuff wasn't there or you can cut it out, I'll be all right with it. But I don't like the whole starting from nothing and trying to build up to something. I I feel like I start with something, or give me a quest that helps me. Like if I do start with nothing, there's a specific quest where it's like, oh, it helps me build as I go along, and then I can kind of freebase off there. You know, kind of like how Elder Scrolls is or something like that. Like you start in the world, you know, and then you go to towns and stuff. They got quests, and then you get, you know, hey, I did a quest. I got a better shield. I got a sword or something. That's what I want. Yeah. Like this is a survival game. This is not exactly Pokemon with guns. This is not just that. It's not.
This is Minecraft with Pokemon.
I wish it was. Yeah, I wish it was. I honestly wish. I wish it was just Pokemon. Like this, it was this world, but it was Pokemon, and then you had like little towns you go to and stuff like that. But no, it looks like I don't know if there is any civilization out here really.
Yeah,
I think it's just the only places I've seen people go to is like bandit. I mean, I call them just bandit camps, but whatever. I don't think it's any towns or cities where you see people and stuff like that.
If there isn't.
Man, yeah, that is disappointing if it isn't. Exactly. Yeah, that sucks. But you know what? I think Arc Evolved was like that too at first, and then I mean that game's been out for years, but they added stuff, and I think there are now. Well, somebody would say, "Hey, you can build you one." That's like, oh no, fuck no. Like I'm not doing that. Yeah. See, so. It's not the game I thought it was, and that's disappointing because I really want a Pokemon game. Like I don't buy Pokemon, I just want a good one. And the ones they make now, I'm not feeling what they are. They're not what I really want. And being as though I can play it not just on a Nintendo system on PC, that's like yes, that's what I really want.
Yeah.
So what you think of Palword?
Yeah, so I at least had kind of the warning ahead of time from you that it was a survival game. So I came into it. I was watching a couple of videos of some guys playing the beginning part. So I kind of knew what I needed to focus on and what I could do initially. So I kind of just jumped into it right away and focused on, they don't have quests necessarily, but they do have like objectives. Like this is a good way to level up. Basically, it's the tutorial stuff. So I've mostly been kind of following that as kind of a means to progress. And I think I'm like level 8 or something like that. Maybe 6. And I've built a little community of pals and really just trying to get them to do the work for me, because this game is a survival game at heart, and it is just about filling a bar, holding a button down until you fill a bar. And it's great for like if I've got all the time in the world and not a lot of other games I would rather play, to just do a thing while listening to a podcast. Or if you're playing it with friends, I think this could be a lot of fun as just, you know, kind of a place to hang out and chat kind of thing. I don't necessarily think I'm done with it yet. That could very easily change. I'm going to be going away for a week and not going to be at my computer. And I don't know that this is a game that I would choose to stream necessarily. I was telling you, I did stream this game. I hadn't downloaded it onto my PC. And yeah, you've been talking about it, but the experience of like Xbox game streaming is not great anymore. It is when it was initially, you know, out there, and I guess a lot of people weren't really using it. It felt pretty good, but now it just graphically, like gameplay wise, it feels like they prioritize that over graphics, which is fine.
They definitely did.
It's the way it should be.
Because yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it results in some really bad looking stuff. And there was a lot of like weird like rolling compression type things. And,
yes, you get that. Yes, yeah.
And then there was also just a lot of pop-in, which I think is more to do with maybe it just being like the console version of the game.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I think
not
that's
so much the streaming.
That's the game. That's just the game, yeah.
But yeah, there's some stuff that I like there. It's a game that if I felt like I had more time to focus on it, I could definitely see some worth in it. But there's a lot of systems in there that just don't really match up with my liking. Like, you know, being a survival game is whatever, having to deal with hunger stats and whatnot. But like when you get into the minutia of like, okay, the meat that I cooked is now has like 15 minutes before it expires and I have to use it before then. It's like, man, this is a level of things that I don't want to have to deal with. And I'm
just thinking, like, I don't know, man. It's like, why? Like, what? Like in this type of game, like I can see in like certain games doing that, Daniel. But when I look at this kitty game with these kitty little Pokemon, like, why would you need that level of detail of like food expiring?
Because this game is for furry perverts, Dominic. It's got nothing to do. This is not a kiddie game. This is not a game for kids just because it's got the Pokemon in it. The reason it's got Pokemon in it is for grown ass people that are into doing sick things with Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Which like I told you, I still think they should have it where you can have like sex trafficking Pokemon and stuff like that.
I think they'll get there, Dominic.
or not, maybe not sex trafficking, but just like you're a pimp. I mean, like, yeah, you know,
just selling it. No, it's cabaret, Dominic. Just selling conversations. That's all. Or is that what they're called, like in the Yakuza ones? Cabaret clubs?
Yeah. They're just keeping company. You're just keeping company. Yeah,
exactly. What they choose to do from there, that's up to them. But, yeah. Every pal can consent is what I'm saying. So, yeah, I think there are things to like there for me. I mean, obviously there are things to like there. Like, people are going wild about this game right now. And survival games, much to my amazement, have been quite popular on Steam and on Twitch. And I can definitely see, even from the few clips that I've seen from this game, like why people would be like, okay, this is, you know, I'm into the weird things that I can do in this game, like capture other people in pal balls and then, you know, horrendously murder them once they are, you know, under my allegiance. So like there's definitely a lot of stuff that can create content for streamers.
Oh yeah. I mean, like you said, like the people on the PC love those games, and then the streaming, people love that stuff. I mean, Rust was, I mean, it might still be up there, but I remember seeing Rust up there for a while, like just up there somewhere. I see Rust, and I'll see Ark. Yeah, I see that all the time. Mm-hmm. Some other ones that I don't even know, because there's a lot of survival games, and there'll be other ones I don't even know, with Forest, but there's some other ones I can't even name because I don't really know them, and I didn't even know they existed. But they probably sold enough.
Oh yeah,
for what they are. Yeah, and then there are I'm sure those other games got microtransactions, right? So
yeah,
they getting some type of money now. This one, Palword, it doesn't have anything yet, right?
Yeah,
because I haven't see like a store.
Anything yet.
Yeah. So they're testing the waters first.
Particularly
they're
far.
Getting people, they're getting people to get in, and then they're going to get you.
Yeah.
They're going to get you.
Then they're going to sell me Pokemon or pals or
like pal clothes or something like that. Yeah.
I would not be surprised. You can buy this hat for your pal. Yeah. So yeah, I am interested to see what this game evolves into if it ever comes out of early access. I'm not going to sit here and promise that like I'm going to revisit it. It depends on what it evolves into. But like I said, it's also not a game that I'm necessarily like, all right, I'm done with this game. I'd like to see more. I'd like to see, you know, what I can do once I capture some of these like big elephant creatures or blossom dinosaurs or whatever.
I know some of them you can ride, right?
Really?
Yeah, I know you can. I think like the horse-looking ones. I mean, like anything. I think you can ride them. Yeah. Did I see in the trailer there was riding the wolf? I'm not sure. But I don't know if you like. And then some. Not all pals can do work because they don't have hands. And they
that
said
makes sense.
That. And I was like, oh, yeah, actually trying to make sense with that. Okay, that's cool. I said, well, that thing with a trunk better still be able to do something.
Better water my crops. Yeah, that was the thing that I learned. Like, well, I don't know that I learned necessarily, but I realized at the end of kind of my session was, oh yeah, I've got all these sheep that are working in my place. But as it turns out, yeah, that's why they're not helping me water these crops, because they don't have that like task or whatever they call it, but if I've got one of these water guys over here, apparently they'll help me out, and my sheep will continue to like help me build things or whatnot like that. So yeah, I definitely need to explore that a little more. The fact that my fire says it needs kindling over top of it, but has been burning for like 20 days. I don't know what that means, because I can't go up to it and it says like add kindling. It doesn't do that. It just says craft. So I don't know if it's going to burn out or if I need to do anything. I did get one of the little fire foxes, so I'm like hoping that he'll just like blow on it or whatever and keep it going to keep me warm. Although I have clothes now, and I feel like the cold hasn't really bothered me since I got my clothing on. So that at least is working out for me. But yeah, it's a game that definitely has some character to it. Like it's not just the trailers. The trailers do a good job of kind of getting you in there, but like these fake Pokemon are pretty good fake Pokemon, Dominic. Some of them are better designed than the modern Pokemon that we see, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm not somebody to say. So far, the Pokemon that I've seen, or the pals that I've seen, they are design-wise, like as comparative to like a Pokemon, yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
Like they don't look like, you can say it's a knock, but it's not like they don't feel like a cheap knockoff.
Yeah,
they don't feel cheap.
Although part of that might just be because we don't know what a lot of Pokemon look like anymore. Like once we see the like cheap knockoff of Squirtle or Charmander, we'll like be like, oh my god, they're knocking them off.
Yeah,
because I've definitely shown the trailer to like multiple people at work, and they're just rattling off like, oh yeah, that's blank version of this. That's emo this. That's and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know what that. You're saying names that I don't recognize anymore. So okay.
Yeah, exactly. If they ain't part of 151, no, I don't know what the fuck they are, because I barely know the silver and gold ones, really, because I only did one playthrough to that, and I think basically my Pokemon were from the first one. Mm-hmm. I think only a few of them were from the silver one, the one you start out with, and yeah, I wasn't a big fan of those starters in the silver. I wasn't a big fan. I mean, look-wise, what they look like. Mm-hmm. I wasn't a big fan. Probably the crocodile one was the only one I liked.
Yeah.
Crocodile?
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Something like that.
I don't know.
Yep.
Water dial. I don't know. Fucking know. I don't know. All right. So I guess we'll take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to the flashback segment.
All right.
And we're back. And now we're flashbacking to 2014. So we got a few games that came out. Actually, no, we do not. We have no games that's worth mentioning to come out in 2014. So we wasted a trip, man. Wasted gas going back to 2014. So now we got
all the time.
We're going to take a trip to 2004, and we got Baldur's Gate: Dark Alliance 2. So this is the console Baldur's Gate, or what the PC people might call Baby Baldur's Gate, and they the sequel to the first one, which got good reviews, and I didn't look at the reviews of this one to see if this was also liked. And let me see. I'll click on Wikipedia. Maybe they got it down here, and they got. Wow, they got a lot of somebody really worked on this wiki page. 78. They got 78 on PS2, 77 on Xbox. Game Informer gave it an 8.5 though. So I probably saw it. It's like, hey, this is a decent game, but I ain't get one, so I ain't worried about it. And yeah, GameSpot gave it an 8 on both consoles. IGN gave it an 8.4. So it must be these lesser sites. Like Eurogamer gave it a 7 out of 10. He's like, yeah, the Europeans probably didn't like it, Daniel. But but all the big ones that I know of gave it in the 8 range. So yeah, I feel like if you liked If you like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1, you'll like this one.
Yeah.
Like hack and slash role playing game. And now I think it's available on PC. They think have ports of it on PC now. Yeah, well, yeah, because they got ports of it. They got HD versions of it on damn Xbox Series X. Apparently.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's still out there. So yeah, Baldur's Gate, man. So what else we got here? We got. Oh, this is big. Nintendo has made the first announcement of the Nintendo DS.
Oh man.
This week. So they announced that they're doing a new console, a new handheld called the DS, stand for dual screens.
We
got two screens.
Spring announcement. Well, I guess it's not technically spring. They love an early part of the year announcement.
Yeah.
Where's that Switch 2 announcement, guys?
So man, that was huge. When I first saw like the pictures of it, I don't know if they show pictures on the date. I'm not sure because I mean I don't. It was so long time ago, so I don't remember what day it was announced.
Yeah.
Or like when I first saw pictures. But I know like I was very confused when I saw that. I said, "What the fuck is this? Like, what do you do?" I said 2 screens.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "What do you do?" Then I finally saw it in the store, and I thought it looked. I mean, I thought the system looked ugly, the first one, but
it was.
I was like, oh, I said now I kind of get it with some of the games they had. I said some games have just maps, and like that's kind of basic. But there were some innovative games, but I still didn't really fully understand because I didn't have one, and I was damn sure wasn't going to buy one to try one, and I don't really go into Walmart and shit, just to be playing games and stuff like that. And a lot of times in the Walmarts I go to, those things were broken, so it didn't matter. I couldn't try it anyway. But yeah. Yeah, but that ended up being it sold well, and then of course you had the iteration when they finally did the Lite, and that really sold gangbusters. Nintendo, man, they knew how to make money with those handhelds, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, that was 20 years ago. So now we're going back 30 years, and we have Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3 was released on the Game Boy in Japan. I never played this one, so you have to tell me about this, Dan.
I never really did either. I always thought that the idea that, you know, the Super Mario Land games somehow evolved into the Wario games was kind of interesting. You know, you now have modern takes on it like Pizza Tower. But I would like to see them revisit Wario as a franchise. Like they did. The most experience I have with like the Wario Land games are like the 3DS one or the DS one, whatever the like Disguise one was, which wasn't particularly good. But I as a means to like continue a 2D side-scrolling kind of Mario game while continuing to evolve like the 3D Mario games, I think that could be one way that it would be really cool if they revisited Wario Land. You know, they did the treasure tracker stuff, but I don't know. But yeah, I believe this game was highly, you know, rated back in the day. People were super into it. I think it wasn't until, you know, like the third game that people kind of fell off of it. But yeah, I it's a game that I always was intrigued to go back to, but just haven't. The weird like close-upness of it was always so kind of jarring to me, you know, compared to the Mario games. But that was, you know, part of the limitation of the Game Boy. I think even the Mario Land games were a little closer than you know, the TV ones, of course. So that's all I got, Dominic.
Yeah, I just remember the commercial of Wario Land, like seeing his, like he had that slime in his mouth or something, like teeth coming down his teeth. Yeah, I remember that, and because I was like, "Whoa, it's an evil Mario."
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, that's cool." But yeah, I was kind of over the Game Boy, man. At that point, like I didn't get back into, like I was playing Game Gear basically, and I was really getting I was that Game Boy. I just didn't care about it. And like, not real. I mean, I'm just a little kid, so I'm not realizing like, wow, Game Boy is just still selling. People still playing it. But no, not to me. They weren't. I didn't really know anybody who was still playing Game Boy. Like, not until Pokemon came out.
Yeah,
was when I saw people playing Game Boy again. Like from where I live. So yeah, so I just didn't really care about like after the Game Gear didn't really do much. I was done with handhelds. Like handhelds were done to me until some guy told me about Pokemon, and because I was like, yeah, I see that commercial about Pokemon, like the cartoon, but I don't know what that is. Or he said, man, you need to play this game. He said, I'll give you mines, and I'll
give you the first hit free.
Yeah, he was nice to let me borrow his game, and then I was like, oh my god, this is nice. And then it was in time, like near my birthday, and then like that's when I got Blue, and I was, oh my god, I was hooked. Man. Now I was like, oh, so this is why people like dogfighting.
Turns out the guy that gave you his Game Boy, president of Nintendo at the time.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Yeah, so, okay, so where we at here now? So that's it. Yeah, so yeah, it's January, so you know it's not really much coming up. So we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to the gaming news.
All right.
And we're back. So let's get to the gaming news. What we got, Dan?
All right, Dominic. First up, after 8 years, the weekly releases of Rock Band 4 DLC are coming to an end on January 25th. That is incredible to me because they have released nearly 3,000 songs.
Rock Band 4? I mean, yeah. Hey, so technically, if you had a Xbox 360, you could have still been playing it?
So here's part of why I stopped playing it. When they transitioned to like the Xbox One to play with your old instruments, you had to get like a specific adapter, and that adapter for the drum kit that I had was like only available in very limited numbers. And then by the time I think I was interested in actually getting it, it shot up to like hundreds of dollars because only people were selling them on eBay or something like that. And I don't know that it's ever been like fully reverse engineered. I know people were working on it. That and the realization of how much money I had previously spent on Rock Band games DLC is definitely what made me stop, because I think I looked at one point and I had spent like hundreds of dollars in DLC songs for Rock Band, and I was like, yeah, I can't do this for one game. You know, it was a thing that like I would go over to my sister's and we would hook up and you know have friends over and stuff and do the whole experience, but like for the most part, that was only the occasional thing, and it's like, yeah, I can't justify that, Dominic. So I never even got on like the Rock Band 4 train, unfortunately. But it's incredible that they've been supporting this game for this many years. Because I remember initially when they had first stopped doing DLC, I guess for one of those earlier games, maybe before Rock Band 4 came along. And it's incredible that they've had somebody working on this, especially through all like the changes that Harmonix has had, getting picked up by Epic eventually even. That's pretty wild. That's an amazing streak to have held up for this long. So like shout out to them. And I'm sure they're like, if I look back now, I'd be like, oh man, there's that song in there now. I'd love to try that out. But man, they really, for the Xbox, and that's the unfortunate thing. It was like specifically the Xbox version that required that adapter and whatnot. Like had I invested all my money into the PlayStation version, it wouldn't have been, you could just like plug that stuff in or something like that. But yeah, that really sucked. That's kind of what broke me off of that series, but that's really awesome that they've been going for this long, and Rock Band is an awesome game. I would love to see them maybe revisit the series, but as like a subscription service, as much as I hate to say that, but like something that I don't have to like lock myself into for too long, but like if I want to have a get together or something like that, and $15, I can play any song that they've created of the 3,000 songs. Of course, then you get into the issue of like, okay, now I've got 3,000 songs to look through, like, paralysis of choice at that point, the Netflix thing where it's like, okay, none of us can choose a song because there are 3,000 songs and somebody wants to do this song and somebody wants to do that song and nobody wants to do this song, something like that. But man, Rock Band just brings back some really good memories.
Yeah. Yeah, good memories of putting those stuff up in on Target. Very good memories.
That was the least good memories about that stuff. Having to put all those things on the risers because we didn't have shelf space anywhere else. And that is why the genre is dead, Dominic. All right. Next up, it was kind of a light week, even though there's some big stuff this week. But the Microsoft Developer Direct, we mentioned that happening last week. It has now happened. And yeah, the focus was on 4 games: Avowed, Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga, Ara, History Untold, and the untitled, at that point, Indiana Jones game. They kicked it off by showing Avowed. That's coming out with a general release window of fall 2024. And it was mostly a focus on the gameplay. And of course, because it was a developer direct, it was like, showing people at the studio doing what they do and then intertwining that with gameplay. I think the gameplay looks good. It reminds me of what you were telling me, basically Outer Worlds. To me, I'm considering this like the Outer Worlds to Elder Scrolls, basically. I hope that it's maybe not as limited as the Outer Worlds, because like we are talking about a studio that made Fallout New Vegas, right? Like they have a level of pedigree that they can take like either someone's property or is something inspired by that property and elevate it. And that wasn't necessarily the case with Outer Worlds. I think it was still cool, but wasn't kind of to the level of like, what Starfield ended up being. What did you think about it, Dominic?
Yeah, it looks, yes, it really reminds me of Outer Worlds and and Bethesda games, basically. And what Obsidian worked on too. But on Bethesda umbrella. So, and I thought, it looks like a game that I think I would enjoy, or I do want to play, because I do like those type of games. Visually, it's like it's not. It doesn't look bad to me. It doesn't look bad to me visually. It's just that I feel like I just expecting when you show me a new game for 2024, I expected something different. Like I expected something that's a little more to it. Like it's when I think of first party games like this, like I think more like if this was like, oh, Obsidian's doing a game and like Microsoft wasn't their publisher and something like that they've been working with, and they came out with this, I'd be like, oh man, this looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking like, man, you got some money back in it. Well, at least I would think so. I would think you would, but I don't know how these studios work. Like I was just thinking something a little more visually. It doesn't have to blow my freaking mind. Like I said, like if this game turned out to be good, I'll be fine with it. But yeah, I am just thinking like, man, visually, I thought it would look a whole lot. I was thinking it looked better than this. Like this looks like something. Like you said, this is like something that could be on last gen, but like you said, a lot of these games do. They just look like maybe up-res version of games that run better because they're on a more powerful system, but not that.
This is a sharper version of Outer Worlds.
Yeah, and that's what I feel about this. But I feel like there should be something more to it, and it probably is under the hat. But with my eyes, I don't see it yet, and maybe there'll be more as time goes on. I'll see more, but but other than that, I think it's a game world, a fantasy game world, and if it's like what I think it is, which is just another Bethesda type of game, that's good in my book. I mean, I like those type of games. Yeah. I like playing those type of games. So this coming out, I'm all for this.
Definitely. All right, Dominic. Next up after that was Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga. We finally got a release date for that. That's coming out May 21st, 2024. So that can be kind of the Xbox exclusive early in the year. You have Avowed and some of this other stuff coming out later in the year. I think this could shape up to be a decent year for Xbox if none of this ends up slipping. They just need to fill in the center a little bit, and hopefully we'll hear about some of that stuff. But
yeah,
now talking visually, like this is a game that is very visually impressive. I feel like gameplay maybe kind of the opposite of Avowed. But what do you think? Is this a game that you look at and you go like, this justifies this new console generation?
Visually, yes, but I don't know. I need to play the first Hellblade. I still need to play that one, because I don't know what you do, and if it's a game I will like. Visually, it looks great, yeah, and it does look like look. I would say I think of this is a new console generation. Compared to last gen, even though I think if we all look back at last gen, that was a little disappointment from going from that, from the previous gen to that. Mm-hmm. And this, and even this, it's kind of not a huge upgrade, but like this is like the first. This is like one of, I ain't gonna say the first, is one of the games that really look like, yeah, man, this visually looks really good. Like it looks like a next gen game.
Yeah, I think they do some impressive stuff with the lighting that really makes it.
I'm trying to think of another game that does that. I used to think Ratchet and Clank, even though that's an early game, I used to think that, but then when I saw Ratchet and Clank, the one on PS4, because I totally forgot about that game. Yeah. It's like, oh shit, that did look good. Look good. And so it was like, I said that game just looks good. Like they, which I just think like, man, it's not enough games that looks like that. Basically,
I think that's where a lot of people's disappointment in like performance now comes in, because we're seeing games that are obviously like sharper, higher resolution textures and things of that nature, but they're not that big a leap over what we were seeing on that last generation visually. I mean, technologically, they probably are. So they're requiring a lot more horsepower. And in some cases, it's a bigger world you're experiencing. But at the same time, if I'm looking at a game that looks like a sharper version of the game that I played on the last gen console, and you can only squeak out 30 frames per second, then you start to wonder what's going on here,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. It's like, darn, well, can you just make it look like this look better than last console but it runs really good? Yeah. Like, maybe don't like, why is it, if it's still 30, it's just like, is it really much of an upgrade? It's like, you can say, and in the whole bigger world thing, I think that, that should never be a talking point no more. Unless the world unless this is a sequel to a game that the world was small, because we had big worlds already, and so sometimes that don't mean jack shit, just because the world's bigger. And like sometimes you don't even need the big world. It's like, man, you don't even probably need that freaking island over there. You ain't doing nothing over there. So exactly. Like I'm at the point where, okay, since visually it looks like we're not gonna get visuals. Like, I want the game to run. Let the game run really, really well, man. Like just experience. Can a game run smooth at least, man? Damn. On these consoles, because the PC seems to do it if you optimize it anyway, and but like y'all don't seem to do that. with the consoles.
Which is so crazy because it felt like for the longest time that was the place that we saw the most optimization, especially as the generation went on. As you got closer to the end of the generation, you would see games that you didn't necessarily think were possible running well on one of those consoles, and now you really just kind of see the same thing the entire time. It doesn't feel like there's any real like, oh, I got more familiar with the hardware and started squeaking out this extra level of fidelity and power to keep this game, running as smooth as it does, but also looking better. And now it's like, well, as soon as they give us those like half stuff consoles with the options of like, do you want fidelity or do you want performance? That's where things just started to go downhill,
Yeah. All right, so what we got next, man?
All right, so next up was kind of a surprise hit in this. They added a little square to their invitation slider and added Visions of Mana from Square Enix. So they had a team from there talking about that. It's coming out summer 2024. So maybe, if we're talking about trying to fill in the middle a little bit for Xbox, maybe this is kind of their hope. Maybe they don't have something first party ready, but they can, get this out. Now, the thing that I didn't see during the presentation or did not keep in my head and forgot to look up was whether its inclusion in this meant it was coming to Game Pass. So I am trying to look that up now. Visions of Mana. Game Pass. That does not look like they have indicated one way or the other if that means anything, but that game looks pretty good. The Mana series has been going on for a little while now. I feel like we got the did we get like a remaster or something of that like not that long ago of one of the recent ones, and now to bring it into like this full 3D world is pretty sweet. So I'm hoping that this turns out to be really cool, and
yeah.
I wonder if this is kind of Microsoft's counterplay to not getting Final Fantasy. They're like, we'll take another, RPG series from Square Enix and see what we get here. But,
yeah, I didn't see Game Pass, so I was like, darn. But I think it's still good that they showed this to show like, hey, we're getting some Square Enix games here, some big RPGs that's not just exclusive to PlayStation. And yeah, I wouldn't mind like if I I look at it and like Mana always had interest in me. I seem to either missed the boat or I just like I was like, yeah, it's interesting, but I don't want to play that now. And but I mean, from the games I played, that seems like, yeah, this is up my alley. It just comes at a time where I'm playing something else or have interest in something else. Gotcha. So, yeah. So, but this looks like a JRPG. It looks like JRPG, and that does some two things. So it's cool for those people who really are into that, and to have that. Even though I really wish it be on Game Pass. So that's what I wanted.
Okay, so yeah, I was trying to remember if this was the series that started out as the Final Fantasy Game Boy game, Final Fantasy Adventure, and it did. It was Final Fantasy Adventure, and then Secrets of Mana, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, I remember that story. Yeah. I remember it. Yeah.
All right, next up, Dominic, was Aura History Untold. This is by Oxide, which is a developer made up of some former Civ 5 developers. This is coming out fall of 2024 as well, allegedly. And this is Civilization, Dominic. There's no getting around it. It's a strategy game with world leaders. It's hard for me to look at this game and think it's anything more than just a direct copy of that game.
Oh, it definitely is. mean, that's what it feels. I mean, if the and like Civ is the big one. So if that's what you really know, it's definitely that. I mean, and now you're telling me former Civ 5 devs. Come on. I mean, but hey, I mean, I haven't heard anything about no Civ 7. So if you're wanting to try some more Civ, which I haven't touched Civ 6 in like, I don't know how long now. I don't mind trying out this, and since it's an Xbox party game, it'll be free. Yeah. I mean, technically free on like a Game Pass. Then I can definitely play it. So I'm good with that. Like, I'm good to see that. I don't know. Did they ever have Civ on PC Game Pass?
I don't recall.
But they had strategy games though. They have had strategy games like from other than Empires, Age of Empires. They have other people. I know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it that is. I mean, it does feel like
simultaneously.
I mean, but is that really a bad thing? Is it really a bad thing? It's a Civ ripoff.
No, I think as long as they're doing something different, and it does sound like if like turns are happening simultaneously, and it's not like a turn-based thing, then like maybe this is their own.
That is definitely different.
Unique take on it. Yeah, I basically just Googled
so it's real
what's
time.
The difference between
so
these
it's real time strategy, not turn-based strategy.
Yeah, effectively.
Okay, so and the whole thing with the Cougars. Well, you know what? I guess the Cougars. Yeah, the whole thing with the Cougars stuff, like animals actually attacking the settlers and stuff like that. That's different. That's not in Civ. You don't have that.
So yeah,
I do
want to see what they add to it. Yeah, but it's just
so basically Civ in real time. Civ in real time. So that's that. I mean, that's a different game. Like you're playing. That's a different type of strategy you're doing there in real time.
Ooh, mechs. All right, Dominic. And then this show ended off with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This is the Indiana Jones game made by Machine Games, the team behind Wolfenstein, the recent Wolfenstein games that have been pretty awesome. It's surprising to, I think, most people. It is a game that will take place mostly in first person. There's some bits where it goes behind your back when you're like climbing up things or doing things of that nature. But for the most part, it is going to be first person. You're going to be swinging around that whip. And they do have Harrison Ford's likeness, a young Harrison Ford voiced by Troy Baker, which is kind of funny. He does.
Oh my God, that wasn't Harrison Ford?
No, that wasn't Harrison Ford.
Oh my God.
No, old Harrison Ford doesn't sound like that anymore. If anything, it would have been an AI Harrison Ford.
Is it? Yeah, he probably would have more gruffer, right?
Yeah. So I think Troy Baker, from the few bits that we have here, sounds pretty good. As
yeah, he sounds all right to me. Ford. I mean, I didn't never. Well, put it like this, I never came with man, that don't sound too good.
Yeah. No. I will say, like, the face definitely has an uncanny valley aspect to it. I feel like it's just not perfect. I mean, I can't expect it to be perfect, but it's also a game where we're probably not going to be seeing his face that often because it's a first person game. So I'm not that worried.
I think there's going to probably be quite a few cutscenes.
Oh, so
yeah. You're going to probably see it more than you, yeah.
I agree. There's gonna be a lot of mirrors too that I'm gonna just stare at and try and pick out all the inconsistencies. He doesn't have a mole here, but yeah, as a first person like action game, and they kind of said that it's not gonna be focused on action per se because like that's not necessarily Indiana Jones' forte. So I want to see what this game ends up being. I don't expect it to be Dishonored. I definitely don't expect it to be missed. But if there is and I don't expect it to be Wolfenstein. So if there's a higher level of focus on like puzzles and stuff, I'm absolutely here for that. That should be awesome.
So what is that game called from the guy I don't like?
The Witness.
Yeah, it's going to be The Witness.
It's going to be The Witness, yes. I just want Indiana Jones staring at the sun, drawing lines. But what did you think about this, Dominic?
No, I thought it looked pretty good, man. And like being a first person, that for some reason that didn't do nothing to me. I didn't. I thought it was a third person game, but I'm a little. I have to say I'm a little happy. It kind of is for I won't get a whole bunch of like Uncharted or Tomb Raider vibes.
Yeah.
From it. But I understand people who prefer third person. That's fine. But as long as this is done well in first person, I mean, that's good with me. Like, I don't mind it. I do not mind this game being first person at all. Like I was saying, that it being first person, it's all right. And visually, it looks all right. I wouldn't say, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not really excited for this game, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, right now. But, I mean, I'm happy it's happening. But I'm not, super excited for it. I mean, it's cool that it's happening, man. It's cool that it's happening, and it's cool that we have another choice on the Xbox. Hey, it's going to be Game Pass, so I mean, it's going to be able to play it. But honestly, I mean, I'm not hyped for it. I wasn't hyped for it before, and seeing it, I mean, I like what I saw, but maybe I'm just not into playing. I would play it, but it's just not what I'm looking forward to. I'm really more so, even though I talked about Valve with the visuals, I look forward to that. I'm going to be playing that game. I know I'm just I'm kind of in an RPG mode right now, man.
Yeah.
So either RPG mode or some quirky game mode, like with Dave the Diver or something. Something of that matter. Something that makes me get lost in the story, and character or world, or something that's really quirky. I'm kind of watching the games done quick, because that's happening. But that was happening all week, and by the time you get this podcast, it's over. I'm kind of I do want to play a Metroidvania game, so yeah, I'll probably play. I forgot what that game is called, but I'll talk about it next time we come up here. Whenever we come back, I'll be playing that while you be playing the Prince of Persia.
Yep.
But yeah, so Indiana Jones, yes, Great Circle. I mean, at least it looks good. At least it doesn't look like, oh man, it's gonna be another embarrassment. I mean, as of right now, it doesn't look like a embarrassment from Microsoft's first party, like Redfall or nothing. I'm just hoping, just don't be that. But it coming out, what did it have a this year? It had said this year, right?
They said this year,
yeah. That's right, because I said it to you. Yes, it's because I was looking again, and I said 2024. So I'm curious of when this year. Because we got a Avowed in fall, but that doesn't mean you can't have more than. And we got Avowed in fall. We got well, I don't count that. That's a whole audience with ARA. But that's also fall. I mean, fall is big. I mean, fall can be September to December, honestly. So
yeah, you immediately think about this game as their big holiday game. But I would be surprised if they were able to pull this off sometime in the summer and make that kind of their middle game and fill out the calendar a little more.
Yeah. I mean, I wish that's what I'm saying. I wish it was between Hellblade and when the Evolve.
Because obviously there's not necessarily a lot of crossover between the people that want to play Avowed and the people that want to play this game. It's probably more than I'm making it sound like, but we're definitely people that would probably like to play both, or at least give both a try, especially because they're both be on Game Pass. So it's it'd be really nice if these were spread out a little more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think overall they did a good job setting expectations for this show and then pretty much delivering. They said we're going to have these 4 games. They ended up throwing in the Visions of Mana as kind of a surprise thing. So that's always nice, an added bonus. But there's sure, you could always have something bigger. I think last year around this time, we basically is when we had Hi-Fi Rush just surprise dropped. But that can't be an every year thing. I was a little surprised, and maybe this isn't kind of the show to do this at, but with all those rumors of Hi-Fi Rush possibly coming to a Nintendo Switch or a PlayStation console that, you know, we didn't get that announcement here. But if I'm Microsoft, I maybe wait for a Nintendo show to show that off, or I like put that information on Twitter. I don't necessarily make it a big deal that the game that was once exclusive to my console is now coming to someone else's console, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, overall, I think came out of it pretty positive. So yeah, that was the news this week, really, Dominic. I didn't see too much more outside of that as far as big stories go. Was there anything that you maybe saw that I didn't cover?
No, I think that's, I didn't see anything out there. Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. We'll get into new releases then real quick. We got Golden Sun 1 and the Lost Age, Golden Sun 2. The Game Boy Advance games are now on the Nintendo Switch online service. So that's pretty cool. You want to play an RPG, Dominic? There you go. You can go back and revisit those.
Wait a minute. So is that like wait a minute. What is it on?
On the Nintendo Online service.
Nintendo Online. Oh, Nintendo Online. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. And also Prince of Persia, Lost Crown. I mentioned that earlier. That is out now on PC. On PC, it is either Epic Store or buy directly from Ubisoft Connect. It is not a Steam available game at this time. Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series. Like I said, everything that I've seen says that it runs fine on the Switch. And from that demo, my experience is pretty much the same, but there's definitely a fidelity difference between playing that and something a little more modern. So if available, maybe check it out elsewhere. You also have another code Recollection. That is the Nintendo Switch collection of, what are those games? Memory something, another code. Oh, and there's actually a demo available for that on the Switch. And of course, they're not going to make it easy about what games they were, but they were games that came out on the 3DS or DS. Yes. Trace Memory being the main one, and then the second part of that is a game that never came out in America, I believe. And I remember thinking Trace Memory was all right. It's a like visual novel style adventure game, okay. Point and click kind of thing where you're finding clues and trying to solve mysteries. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm glad there's a demo out there. I might give that a try. And then The Last of Us Part 2 remastered for the PS5 is now available.
Yeah, Game Informer were cheap on me because I was looking and I said that they just gave the review of The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, that's
like they just put reposted their review from the PS4.
That is,
I was like, I guess they're saying that it's the same, Daniel. So,
I mean, there is additional content there. So, like, if they did not,
that's what I thought there was. That's why I was confused.
I mean, I don't want to make any assumptions about their workload, but like, it feels like they're relatively understaffed. But like, if that's the result of that, that's kind of lame.
Well, they said, look, man, we can't be reviewing these remakes.
I mean, if that's their stance, then like I'm all for it. Like, good for them.
Yeah, but I want you to say that though.
Say it with your chest, stance. Exactly. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because I'm looking at the reviews now. I'm trying to find like I got the ads because they had that on the page. Because I clicked on it. I was like, oh, I got the review. But then I was looking. I was like, I saw the name. It said Annie McNamara. I said, that man, he's gone. I said he came back to review it. I was like,
I mean, if they're just like giving themselves time to actually play it, that's fine. There were other more important games to be spending your time with.
Oh, but no, nah, it's like it's not even up here for the newest reviews.
Yeah, I saw it's just that. A repost. Because I'm looking here now, but yeah, that's. I don't know about that. That's unfortunate. I feel like, because like it is obviously if you bought it already and you can get that $10 upgrade, like that's fine. I don't know that I necessarily need a review to tell me whether it's worth the $10 upgrade or not. But like, as a person that maybe bought it and needs to, or has played it, I don't know, like it's a rental or something and needs to determine whether it's worth purchasing now at a higher price. I don't know. I feel like they're delivering a different product, so you should be delivering a different review, or at least
exactly.
an appendix to your old review and say like, this applies to this. We also played around with this new roguelike mode and this is our feelings on that.
And that's why I'm confused of why they didn't do that.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's just like a time thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe they're like, hey, we addressed it on the podcast and, you know, we just don't necessarily consume that. So we don't know, but it seems weird. Because, yeah, they've got the GI show, Palworld is real, and so is The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. So I don't know what the discussion is they have on there. But, yeah, yeah. What's going on there, guys? Why don't you? Do I have to wait till the magazine comes out to get your review? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, maybe.
So
they probably just repost Annie McNamara's review.
Excuse me. Jeez. All right, Dominic. That's it for the new releases. You got anything else for the people?
Nah, dang. Oh yeah. You know, we're gonna do the
yes,
the list of the game of the year.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we're doing. Yes, we are like just like the last few years. We go back. We do it. It's really part of Flashback segment, but we flash back to past game of the years. To see what people picked in the past, and also, you know, I might even look at something with the game of the years or something for this year, if I have time. Like, cause some people, you know, they already done it. They already put the game of the years up already. I mean, of course, the Game Awards happened, and some publications, most of them done it. I think DICE hasn't happened yet, though. I don't know if the BAFTAs have happened yet. The British Game Awards. I don't think they happen yet. Or at least they're not posted up here on this Wikipedia page. Yeah. So that's where we start off with, though. We're going to start off with the British Academy Awards from, we're going to do 10, 20, 30. So, you know, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. So, BAFTA didn't go back 30 years, so we're going to do 20 years. So, 20 years ago, the game of the year for 2003 was Call of Duty. The PC game. So yeah, you still there?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, so yeah, because I mean that was huge. This was the guys who did Medal of Honor, and they came with their they went to Activision. They did their own game. They had problems with EA, and they came up and they did a great game. And people were like, oh shucks, man, say this is wow, the old Medal of Honor guys are now competing with their old property and stuff like that, and this basically took over. Like this is the beginning of the end of Medal of Honor when this came out. Basically, it really was. What else we got here? Because I clicked on the damn game by accident. All right, so now we're going back. What happened 10 years ago for the BAFTA, the British Awards? They went to, where am I at here? 2013. The Last of Us got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And deservingly so. The Last of Us got it. It was a great game, great story,
great television show.
And now I'm thinking like, I'm thinking I'm going to see what this year is going to be for 2013.
Yeah,
I think we're going to get a feeling of what that is. But not from the Czech Republic. You know, they have their own games. They do. They only started in 2010, so they don't have 20 years. They do have 2013, and they got Arma 3.
Arma seems like such a Czech Republic game.
And then that's their tactical shooter genre. They have two of them, Arma 3, and then they have a game called Lums, the game of Light and Shadows. Is that a phone game? Maybe that's why. Yes, that's probably a phone game. Yeah, and that's my category they had. So Dice Awards. So they, for 20 years ago, because they didn't have no 30 years, they had 2013 Last of Us. Of course.
Oh.
Last of Us. Oh, that's 10 years ago. I'm sorry. I went way too far. I'm sorry. I went ahead of myself. Okay, 20 years ago, I was going to edit that out. 20 years ago, Dice had Call of Duty for 2003. So there you go. Oh, I think I might be seeing something for 2003 too.
Yeah.
And 2013, they got Last of Us. So, yep, as expected. So, Electronic Gaming Monthly, formerly Arcade Awards. This ain't Electronic Game Monthly. I'm sorry. This is called the Electronic Gaming Awards. This is not nothing to do with the magazine, I don't think. Actually, no, it is. We were announced annually by Electronic Games Magazine in 1981, covering blah, blah, blah. Okay. But I think this is like this own award show because they had, it started in 1979 and it only goes to 1993. Well, darn, I might as well do 1983, Daniel. See, 40 years ago.
Yep.
For the arcade, they had Pole Position.
Mm-hmm.
That was a stripper game. That came out. It was very that's dope. Pole Position. Have I seen this? Am I seen this game? Oh, it's the racing game.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's that racing game. Okay, so that one.
I don't know if I've ever seen this cockpit that they've got here set up. That's pretty cool.
Qbert. Daniel, Qbert, is the one the standalone game. I don't know what that means, but it won. Then on the consoles, they had under 16K. Is that
like processing power?
Yeah, I'm about to say.
I don't know.
Miss Pac-Man won over 16K. Ladybug won.
Oh, Ladybug. She's using all the power.
And on the computer, the best game, Lode Runner.
Are you familiar with Lode Runner at all?
A little. My dad had it.
Okay, yeah.
My dad had it on his PC.
The more modern version in the late 90s or whatever. My buddy had it on his computer.
Oh, you played that one. Okay, yeah, because I'm looking at this game. Yes. I see my brother, my dad play it. Yeah.
He's the thing.
And I tried to play it. I tried to play. I mean, I don't think I got anywhere. I think I just climbed up ladders. All right, so we got Famitsu Awards, Daniel.
Yeah.
All right, so for 20 years ago, they didn't have one.
They didn't exist between 1991 and 2004.
No, they stopped. They went from 1986 to 1991, and then came out in 2004.
Yeah. So weird.
Yeah, so we're gonna just do 10 years ago. Monster Hunter 4 won.
Boo.
Yeah, they said no. Last of Us is not our type of game here. It's just, all right. So what we got here? We got the Game Awards.
The Keeleys.
Yes, and they did not start till 2014, so we don't have those yet. Then we got the GDC, Game Developer Choice Awards. So they, yes, they did have 20 years ago. They had 20 years ago. They got for 2004. I mean, I said 2004. I'm sorry. 2003. They did not pick Call of Duty. They picked Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I'm pissed off with the other ones.
I was gonna say now it's like, whoa, there was competition there. It's kind of
yeah. It's just, and for 10 years ago, The Last of Us. So Last of Us kicking ass. It's successful in Japan and the Czech Republic. Places outside of the Western civilization. Texas kind of in the middle. All right, Golden Joystick Awards.
Yeah.
So we actually got one for 40 years ago, 1983. So what they got here, they got Jetpack.
Ah, yes. The ZX Spectrum.
Yes, and look at that. I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen this before. But yeah, that was cool. And it's probably the first game you had a jetpack in. And then So let's go to 30 years ago, 1993, which they don't have. 1992 was the last one.
Magazines didn't exist in 93.
Yeah. And then they between 92, they skipped to 96, 97. All right, so then let's go to 10 years ago. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Even more competition.
One.
Yeah.
That's right. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. What the fuck, you Last of Us? What the fuck is Grand Theft Auto 5 should have been winning? Kiss my ass. All these awards, those awards were wrong. Joystick knew what was up. Golden Joystick knew what was up. Japan Game Awards. All right, they started in 1996, so we're going to 20 years ago, 2003. Final Fantasy 11. They have two games. Final Fantasy 11, the MMORPG. That's understandable. And a game I probably can't pronounce. Tekko no Tatsuni. It's a rhythm game from Natco. I was
gonna say, I think that's a drumming game.
Yes, that's exactly. Yes, it is. It is because they bought another version out later on. Yeah, I see it 2018. Yeah, and I think I played a demo. I think I should played it. Yeah, because I think it was on Xbox. Mm-hmm. Game Pass.
Yep.
And it had some music that I did recognize, and then it had some Japanese music and I did not know what it was. But
it was far more fun to play.
Yeah, I was saying it was a good beat. All right, for 10 years ago, 10 years ago, they had Animal Crossing New Leaf. All right, so what we got here? They were into Grand Theft Auto over there. Japan, they're not into that. What did Famitsu picked? They didn't pick New Leaf. They picked
Monster Hunter.
Okay. Ooh, yeah, that was some competition there for them. Definitely competition, and I think I have lost my way, Daniel. All right, here we are.
New York Game Awards.
New York Game Awards. They just started in 2011, so we're just going to 2013. Last of Us.
Yeah.
Bro, come on, New York, you didn't pick Grand Theft Auto, man. Get the hell out of here.
They felt attacked down.
Spike Video Game Awards.
The old Achilles.
And they started in 2000. Yeah, they started in 2003. So we got Bang 2004.
This is wild, dog. It's a wild choice. That is the epitome of a Spike Video Game Award.
Yeah, and that's why they changed. And then 10 years ago, Grand Theft Auto 5. The Spike knew they had to get that. It was like, no, we can't do no fucking Last of Us. Are you kidding me? The South by Southwest Game Awards, which started in 2014, so we got nothing. Even though they gave it to Last of Us, though.
They must do the weird half year.
Okay, so they do the awards of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the year of the awards, not the year the games come out. So they're backwards. You're doing it wrong. Tell them they're doing it wrong, Daniel.
They're doing it wrong.
VSDA Awards, the Video Software Dealers Association, started in 1983 and in 2001. So we can do 1983, which was Pac-Man won. And I guess no games came out because they had nothing until 1994. So I can't do 1993.
They're too busy smoking and trading arcade machines.
They were just busy Pac-Man. They were busy playing Pac-Man. They even said they didn't say fuck this Pac-Man. Damn,
they had Pac-Man fever.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that fever lasted. All right. Now that was all award shows and things of that nature. Now we're going to publications in the media. Ars Technica, which started in 2012. So for 2013, wow, they went different. They did Papers, Please. Yeah. For their game of the year.
Ars Technica has always been kind of a different publication, so that doesn't surprise me. And Papers, Please is cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. Destructoid. They started in 2007. Released their awards show did. The awards. But so I only could do 10 years ago. Last of Us. Boo. It's Last of Us good. I can't, man. Easy Allies. Started in 2016, so we can't talk about that yet.
Brand new on the block.
Yeah. Edge Magazine. They started in 1998, so we can do 2003. No, we can't. Some must have happened in 2003. Because we talked about Metro Prime.
In 2003 either.
Yeah, we talked about Metro Prime, and then they just go to 2004. So now we need to go to 2013, and Grand Theft Auto 5 won. And yeah, so say, hey, but you know why? Because they're European. That's why. Yeah, Naughty Dog is too American for him, Daniel. All right, so even though Grand Theft Auto, all they is Europeans who make about American lifestyle. All right, Electronic Gaming Monthly. They started in 1988, so we could do 1993 Samurai Showdown.
Oh wow,
that's what they chose for 1993, the fighting game. And then for 2003, I'm sorry. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
Hell yeah,
they chose
Dominic.
that. Wow.
EG with the taste.
And then for 2013, they chose BioShock Infinite.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they went way different, man. They said,
I'm digging EGM's taste here, man.
They said, I don't care. Y'all can talk about how this game is not that good. This is great. You just
see
don't
what
understand.
Happened was, Dominic, they made their awards the same week that everybody was really high on that game. So then, like 2 weeks later, when everybody was real bad, talking about how bad it was, they were like, "Oh shit, we already put out our awards. We published them already."
I should have cashed out, Daniel. God damn it! No. It went up to 24 something too, but I said if they're gonna get up 24, that means I must be looking good. Nope.
Oh no.
They went over. Sons of bitches. I'm so at least LeBron's son lost. At least I got that out of it. It was Arizona State beat USC.
Yeah.
So little Bronny lost. You lost, Bronny. You bastard. You should have played some defense and left out get some money.
He's at USC, I presume.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta edit out that bastard because I didn't mean that. Look at them showing him how many points he had. I swear, if this man was not the star of the game, they should not be showing him. All right, where am I at? Empire Magazine. They started in 2014, so there's nothing to talk about. No. Entertainment Weekly. They started doing games in 2007. They've been doing entertainment forever, but they said, "Hey, we're just getting into this game. This gaming world seems to be big.
These can be entertaining as well."
Yeah, and guess what? They did BioShock.
Hell yeah.
Infinite, which they did in 2007. They gave BioShock, and so they said, "Hey, we got to give it Game of the Year again." They didn't give it to Grand Theft Auto. I'm curious about that.
That's pretty wild, because of how big it was as a media entertainment event.
Yeah, that is interesting, Daniel, to me.
It is shocking how few publications have given it to Grand Theft Auto 5 so far.
Yep. And that game's still going. They say, go fuck yourselves. All right. Eurogamer. You see what they got. It's still in 1999. So 2003, they give it to Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
All right.
Darn. Not enough people gave that game of the year to me.
Nah.
They and then in 2013, I'm surprised they didn't give it to Grand Theft Auto 5, but they gave it to Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah, wow. Respect.
They went. Wait. They said we don't give it to a Wii U game.
Yep.
Huh. And they still around. I was about to say they should be canceled, but they still around. Game Informer, who started in 1992. So in 1993, they gave it a Mortal Kombat 1. Then in 2003, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker came out. Oh my goodness. That game, yeah. You know what? Yes. That is their game of the year.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think we're starting to see things fall apart a little bit. So I'm looking at, because Game Informer has Vice City as 2002.
Yeah, 2002.
So it looks like some of these that had theirs as 2003 were doing the whole year after thing.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, because I remember, 2002 was when it came out. 2003, 2003 was no Grand Theft Auto. So Eco was technically the game of the year, maybe for Eurogamer.
That's not entirely surprising.
But you know what? No, that game came out 2001. So no, they just fucked up.
You also have the problem with like Eurogamer. We're talking about European releases too.
Oh yeah.
So that's way too complicated. Skip them. We don't care what they like.
They're weirdos. Okay. But yeah, so Game Informer, Vice City came out in 2002. So they did give it that, and we said that last year.
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker, yes, and I'm just surprised that I have not seen that anywhere else.
Definitely.
I mean, but then again, like I said, the competition was pretty. I mean, you got Call of Duty, which was a big thing, and then you have, I forgot the other game I said it was. I was that other people said. So we go back 10 years in Game Informer, and they have The Last of Us. Of course they do. All right, GameSpot started in 1996, so we go to 2003, and we got The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Okay, all right, maybe we're getting places. Yeah, all right. Those award shows did not know quality, Daniel.
Yeah.
But
I think as we get more into the like internet stuff, it's a lot better opinions here.
Yeah,
outside of VGM,
we say better opinion. You say like they're better. And 2013, look, another Zelda. The Legend of Zelda: Links Between Worlds.
Damn straight, Dominic.
Yeah, they said no. Forget Grand Theft Auto 5. Forget that. Oh, hold on real quick.
Sure.
All right, I'm back. So they got the Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds up here, man, and yes, I didn't see that anywhere else, man. They said no Grand Theft Auto 5. What was the other game? Last of Us. They didn't say no to that. Darn, Nintendo paid their asses. They paid GameSpot. But I was like, I should have been looking, Daniel, because some of these sites do have 2023 their games. So they gave Baldur's Gate. GameSpot gave Baldur's Gate Game of the Year.
Yeah. It's mostly been Baldur's Gate on the ones that I've seen so far.
Game Informer did Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
The right choice, yeah.
Okay, all right. Just because you played it. All right, so Games Radar Plus started in 2006. So 2013, The Last of Us, and 2023, Baldur's Gate 3. Gangst, they started in 1987, so we go to 1993, Samurai Showdown. Okay.
Man. Back when a fighting game could win a Game of the Year award.
Yeah, SNK. They stopped in 1998, so. Game Trailer started in 2005, so all we can do is 2013, Last of Us.
Boo.
Giant Bomb started in 2008, so all we can do is 2013, Last of Us.
I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you. I mean,
they usually be weirdos with their games.
It's not even that. It's just, I mean, they definitely have different opinions usually, but I feel like the kind of like award debate that The Last of Us is, I feel like is not necessarily a game that they would have necessarily gone for.
Oh, okay. Hardcore Gamer 2013, The Last of Us. Because they only started in 2012, and they haven't done their 2023 yet. IGN started in 2001. So 2003, they did Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars. And in 2013, Last of Us. 2023, they did Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. That means you got to go be on IGN site again, Daniel. They like the game you like. Yeah. All right. Polygon started in 2012, so they do have 2013. Gone Home. Oh, they went to Gone Home. That is very Polygon.
That is very Polygon. That is very early Polygon, especially.
Yeah, that's very yes. That I can definitely see that. Time Magazine. Yeah, it is. Time Magazine started in 2006. So we go to 2013, Grand Theft Auto 5. 2023, they got Alan Wake 2.
Wow.
US Gamer, they started in 2015, and then they stopped in 2020. So we got nothing. Yahoo started in 2007, so they got 2013, The Last of Us. And that is it for the list of the Game of the Year Awards. So hopefully by the time we come back, we might not have a show next week, maybe 2 weeks from now. Yep. And that will be our like Game of the Year award show. Or we might have a regular show, or might do a combo. I think that's what we did before, a combo. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how things go. So that's it, man. So I guess we close out.
All right. Thank you guys as always for listening. You check us out on Twitter. Dominic is at DStalworth5. I'm at Regulus MB. The podcast is at Superpod, SUPAPOD. Superpod.com is the website. You can check us out there. It has all of our podcasts, as well as links to places where you can find us, including YouTube, where there's a video version of this podcast, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Until next time, guys, talk to you later.
All right, see ya.